We build up the sequences of the milestones of the projects, and we share the first outcomes that came out from the three institutions and particularly from our recent history, in order to understand what's the target of the project, what's the main issues, the kind of labor that we have to build together to go on the target of the project. And we decided more or less the first topics of the performance that is the focal point of the entire Creative4democracy project.
We presented some of our best practices at the Balie to Berlin and Milan, especially live journalism, which is a very nice method we developed here to be able to research issues in society and present them to a public.
The workshop in Berlin had two aims. One, of course, we had to present the participatory projects of the Berlin Museum, the Berlin City Museum, which we did mostly in the Berlin Global Exhibition in the Humboldt Forum, where we also had our meeting in the rooms of the university, who is also present in the Humboldt Forum. So we also were presented with the participatory projects of the university department. And the other thing was we really had to decide on a product. So not just on a subject, because that was already done before, but on a product. What are we going to develop together with communities in our cities?
What we should do, and it is better that we do it together and not only by ourselves, is to understand how and on what topics we can promote participation between the people, and how to develop participation and collaboration between the urgencies of the citizens and the urgencies of institutions like Fondazione Feltrinelli. I think that the most important component that characterized the workshop and that will characterize the contribution of Fondazione Feltrinelli to the project is the fact that we don't want to make something for ourselves, but we have to focus our attention and the attention of the partners to let the project be one of the milestones of our history, to get new life to culture in order to let the participation be one of the milestones of the future of Europe.
We presented live journalism to our partners today here at the Balie because we think it fits in very well as an example of how we could go about developing our own happening with the three partners. We're at the table here at Berlin, Milan and Amsterdam. So we thought that giving insight into our method will help us develop our own method of participation with the public and of making a performance out of this participation.
Well, we have to end our cooperation with an event. And we had to think out which event would be appropriate. So the decision about the theme, which was the environmental worries of city civilians, was settled, but then what to do with it? So we had to think out something that we could do together. We decided that every of our three partners, actually four parties when we take the university as one of the partners, in which they are in fact. So what is the speciality of each partner? What can each partner do best? And then try to fit it together. So we decided on a project in which the museum is doing its speciality, the Balie is doing its own speciality, and also Feltrinelli is doing what they can best. And this we decided upon in a concept.
We decided, first of all, how to work together. We decided how to start a collaboration in the fields of Creative4democracy project, but most of all in the field of how we can contribute to the future of Europe. So it's a long-term project that will link together the three institutions. But most of all, we start letting a sort of open collaboration between scientists, researchers, performers, and the directors of the three institutions on how we can focus the performance on one main topic that can be useful for letting the participation be present in the three countries. And I think that the new sense of fear that belongs to the European continent, and then the new sense of fear of this kind of moment, political moment of our history, comparing to what happened in the 20th century, is at the center of our work, and we will see what happens.
We had a very insightful discussion between the three of us what topic to take, picking a topic, and we came to the conclusion that we probably will develop a participatory performance with the topic of climate change and how it affects different groups of citizens. And that was very insightful to come to the conclusion that there's different topics in different cities, but we will try to approach them in the same way, using some of the live journalism methods probably, and being able to find a common ground for a topic which is about climate change and how different citizens in different cities and different groups of citizens react to that or fear those issues at the table. Can become quite interesting, I think.
The idea now is that the museum, for instance, is going to contact the audience on internet. We have a product online, which is called Berlin Jetzt, Berlin Now, and we collect objects from the civilians of the city that they propose for our collection on issues of today. Now, environmental care and worries are, of course, issues of today. So we will now present the question, what do you have as a so-called symbolic object, maybe it's a photograph, of what you are not going to do anymore because of environmental issues? But also the question, what will you stay on doing? Because it's so important to you that even environmental worries are not big enough to let it go. So things you don't do no more and things you will go on to do. And of course, we are interested as a museum in objects. So what is a symbolic object? The Balie is, of course, very interested in the interviewing. What is the in-depth situation if you discuss this with the people involved? And Feltrinelli wants to do a stage. So they have to think, how can you make a scenario which will be on stage? And in the end, we hope that we can put it together as three components of one event.